Also quickly bring on board Ameera Shah, promoter and executive chairman, Metropolis Healthcare, joining us this morning to give us a perspective on how things are chugging along. Ameera, talk to us about how Q4 trends are shaping up. Give us a sense.
So Q3, as we know, was a good quarter.
Yes.
For Metropolis, we grew at about 26%, of which about 15% was organic growth. Q4, it's still early, but is trending reasonably well as well. And I think we should end the year fairly strongly on the direction that we're heading into next year as well. So things are looking good, I think, for the business.
The organic growth, 12%. Are you comfortable with that number? As we're nearly at the fag end of Q4.
You mean for the quarter?
For the year, Ameera, I believe that was your guidance, organic 12% for the year.
So, up to Q3, it's already higher than 12%. So I think it's already 13% plus. So I think if Q4 goes in the direction that we are hoping for it to go, then I think we should be certainly higher than guidance.
Ameera, I also want you to talk to us a little bit about where you think healthcare as such is headed. And, there is a lot of chatter in the market about GLP-1 and when the generics hit here, what's going to happen to various other industries and allied spaces as well. But for healthcare, what does this moment really mean for the country?
See, I think obviously GLP-1, I think is going to be and has already been, a drug of choice for many things. Obviously, it started off being an obesity, being a diabetes drug, and it has gone on to now becoming for many other areas. But I think, like anything else, I think we have to be cautious around the way that we are really dealing with it and how often we prescribe it for what use cases. We don't want to land up going overboard where we land up using it for things which are not appropriate. I think the effect of this is going to be a large prescription dosage of GLP-1s, which means that you're going to find a lot of chronic patients on it, which means they're going to have to do a lot of testing to find out their baseline, whether the dosage they're taking is correct or not. All of that has to be monitored along the way. And hopefully it cuts down some amount of obesity, which would then lead to other chronic and NCDs, which of course is a big issue in India for us today.
Interesting you say that. The other thing I also wanted to talk about, and something that you've been talking about, precision medicine, genomics as well. Where do you see this piece headed? And then, how does it sort of tie in with healthcare overall and, the changing face of it?
So, the future of healthcare, as we know, the two areas that are going to grow the fastest over the next 10 years, one is cancer, unfortunately, oncology, and second is neurology, mental health, and all kinds of other potential nervous system, diseases. So as these areas grow, really genomics continues to play a very significant role in diagnosing these early stage at the right place and also helping in therapies. So today, precision medicine or genomics is also working for deciding what therapies to give, what dosage to give, which kind to give, what will work well on your body, what will not work well on your body. So I think a lot of our future healthcare is going to be dependent on mapping our own body genomics and figuring out which drugs, what food, what medicines are actually going to work well with us and what's not going to work well with our body. So a lot of these issues that we have around allergic reactions, a lot of these issues that we have around ineffective drugs and therefore delaying our therapies, some of these will get resolved in the future by through genomics. So we're obviously working very fast and hard at really building out this entire space of working very strongly on this area, not only in neurology and oncology, but also in women's health and in various other areas as well.
Ameera, clearly sounding positive, especially on the back of GLP-1 and everything that's playing out. Give us a sense of FY27. Would therefore growth be, you'd believe, higher than the FY26 number that you had guided for?
Look, I think we'll probably get to a guidance for next year as we complete this year because we'll have a better sense on, the end of the year base. But I think more importantly than anything else, I think we are confident of two things. We are confident of a strong organic growth for the business. We're also confident of, looking at a couple of acquisitions every year that will be strategic in nature, and we're also confident of margin expansion. I think all these three will shape up well in FY27 for Metropolis. And obviously, specifics of those we can talk as we get into next year.
And how is the expansion with regard to True Health going? Are you clocking more centers as we've gone by over the last few months?
Absolutely. I mean, every quarter we are adding few hundred centers. So I think this year itself, we are adding about 500-600 centers. So I think we are currently, if I'm not mistaken, at around, as of Q3, we were at about 4,900 centers and about 225 labs, across 750 cities and towns in India. I think our goal going forward will be to continue to get deeper into the markets that we're already in and to continue to build productivity per center in the markets that we're in. So while, of course, we'll get into new cities as well, but really a lot of the focus will be in really strengthening the space that the cities and markets that we're already in. Because 750 cities and towns, a very large number of distribution and large city distribution, but it's important that we build leadership in many of these markets.
But do you see the piece growing beyond 25% within next 18 months?
Do I see, sorry, what growing beyond 25%?
True Health?
True Health, I think, is an area that continues to grow really well for us. Basically, this is consumers who are coming in and saying, look, I'm concerned for my health, and, either doing it from a preventive basis, or they're consumers who are coming in for 3-4 tests because they're unwell and they're saying that, look, I want to buy a higher bundle. Because, I think at one time, if I'm getting pricked, then I might as well check everything that's happening in my body. So True Health, we believe, will continue to grow. Currently, it's about 20% of our overall revenue, growing at about 25%. And we believe this should be able to continue going into the future.
Okay, Ameera, thank you so much for coming in and giving us that perspective. It's a very, very good day to speak with you as well, and wishing you a very, very happy Women's Day as well, in advance, of course.
Thank you so much.
All right, and with that, completely out of time on this edition of First Trades from Aisha, myself, everyone who puts this show together. Thanks so much for watching. Stay with us here on ET Now. More action to follow.